Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of the programs that we are going to be doing from Warren Community College in Washington, Warren, New Jersey. And it's all about drones. As you can see behind us, the sky is not the limit, and indeed it is not. And this first program, we're going to introduce you to the drone program at Warren Community College. And I have as my guest the person who's really the main impetus in getting the program started. I'm talking about Dr. Will Austin. Will, glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me today.
We're going to talk about the drone program in this particular video. So you're going to learn a little bit about what the program is at Warren Community College. And for those of you who may be considering taking courses, possibly getting a degree in this type of technology, this will be the program you want to watch. So, Will, let's start at the beginning. How did the program begin at Warren?
Yeah, and around May of 2017, one of our local officials, Ed Smith, approached me because we had a mosquito issue and they couldn't get to some of the really dense forested areas to drop pellets to kind of kill the larvae. So he came to me and had this idea about drones, and he was also a single engine pilot. So he had seen a couple in the air, and he thought, if we could just teach people at the college and then put people at the college with the drones, it would be safer for aviation. Come all these years later, and it's gone from an idea to help out the community into one of the major enterprises we have here at the college.
Yeah, and what an idea. We are talking to you from a portion of the Phillipsburg campus at Warren Community College that is set aside just for technology that has to do with drones and instruction and such.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. In about 2021, the state of New Jersey gave us a couple $1 million to really renovate this entire 5,000 square foot area into the Dr. Joseph Warren Robotics Research Center. Since then, we've had other grants come in. Congressional earmarks come in, and it's been really, really beneficial to us. We probably were able to not only develop our program, but we have in excess of 80 drones, air-based, land-based, underwater drones, every piece of software one could need in this industry, and then a whole lot of money to do research and to really help our community do all kinds of things with the students that they wouldn't normally be able to do in just a typical lecture type platform.
And this is in a 2-year course.
In 2 years, yeah. In 2 years in this program, students will get their Part 107 pilot license, but they'll also get advanced training in advanced operations like beyond visual line of sight or flying drones over people. They can take that knowledge, collect data in photogrammetry. They learn about LiDAR. They learn geographic information system with Esri products. They learn with Pix4D. We also do a lot of agriculture work with Pix Fields. So we have a numerous kind of software programs that they use, like FLIR Thermal Suite when they learn their thermal classes. But in addition to that, we have an entire additive manufacturing lab. So students also learn how to design their own robots, program their own robots, build their own robots, 3D print the component parts for the robots, and then test and make them either land-based, maritime-based, or air-based safe.
And just so as we do not confuse our viewing audience, we were mentioning robotics. Really, drones are robots.
Yeah, drones are robots. They're a lot of times we think of, when we use the word drone now, we think of like aerial vehicles. But in essence, when we think about drones here, we think about any kind of robot, and because you have to kind of focus in on what kind of robot you're going to teach people about. Any kind of robot that can be transportation based. So here at the college, it can be, again, air-based robots or aircraft. Land-based robots, like you see Spot behind me there. Maritime, like the blue ROV, which again is behind me. That's one of the drones. Anything you see behind me is basically a drone we have. And we also have a option for commercial space operations. Mm-hmm. So they actually learn about drones or robotics in outer space.
I just want to touch on one thing before we move on to really talking more about the courses that you have here. It is important, even recreational pilots now really have to maintain a knowledge about safety, because with the increased use of drones, safety is going to be a very, very important consideration. Am I right?
Yeah, and I think what the FAA, and we work a lot with the FAA, sponsoring their conferences, et cetera, because we think getting this knowledge out there is important. So a lot of people don't realize now that they're supposed to go online and take the FAA trust exam when they're a recreational pilot. This is basic level knowledge. It's impossible to fail. You can keep taking the test until you get your trust certificate, because the FAA just wants you to understand that you are actually taking an aircraft into the National Airspace System where there are planes, there are spacecraft.
Yes.
There are people up there, and we are not flying up there. We're on the ground nice and safe. So the FAA wants us safe. Now, if you do anything commercially, which means any way you can monetize your drone operation, so any way you would get money from drone operations, which includes things like a YouTube channel, and that's something a lot of people make a mistake on, you are required to have your Part 107, which is a pilot's license. But the FAA will tell you they only certify. There are actually no licenses. So it's always a certification. Right. So remember that. You'll have your pilot's certificate.
But it is a course that is taught here at Warren Community College. And we're going to talk about maybe a little bit about some of the courses that are taught. But the main thing is that I want those of you that are viewing that may be recreational pilots to remember is safety is an extremely important part of flying your drone. We don't fly over people. We don't fly into dangerous situations. We don't fly into power lines and things like that, and even not into trees.
And do not, when you're a recreational pilot, do not go over 400 feet. That is a right that certificated pilots have, that recreational pilots do not. They do not want you over 400 feet at all.
Right, exactly. So let's talk more specifically about the program at Warren College, and we're also going to, a little later on, talk about some partnerships that Warren Community College has with some very, very important people, and you can continue your education. So let's talk a little bit. Now, you mentioned some of the courses that we have here at Warren College, but as part of the 2-year degree, what will a student need to have in order to get that associate degree?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty amazing program. They're going to come in the first semester, and they're going to learn about all the different domains of transportation-based robotics, or what we might call drones. They're also going to simulate a lot of their flights. So they're going to sit here, and I love flight simulation because when you start there and you crash your drone, you hit the space bar or some other button, and you get the drone back, right? So it doesn't cost you any money. Next, we're going to go out, and they're going to do their Part 107 class, and they're going to take their test, and we're going to train you. We're going to start you with tethered drones, and then by the time you're done the degree, you're going to be up to something like the Census Centero BVLOS drone. So you're going to go from your basic level drone to your most advanced drones, like the Flyability Helios 3, which is an indoor LiDAR-based drone. So you are going to learn many, many systems here, and you're going to be able to concentrate in. That's kind of overview of a little bit of what goes on in your first year. In addition, you are going to take a robotic programming class, a robotic design class, a photography class. You're going to take a building class, so you're going to learn how to build a drone from component parts. So any robot out there, you're going to know how to fix. You're going to know how to build. You're going to be able to take them apart. So everything will make sense to you, nut to bolt, before you even take off if you're going to build a flying-based drone. That's going to happen. You're also going to take an advanced safety class where you're going to fly at night. You're going to learn how to fly over people. You're going to learn how to mitigate all the different dangers and risks out there so that you can learn how to operate your drone safely and effectively. In that class as well, you're going to learn how to write waivers for people. So you'll learn how to write flight over people waivers, beyond visual line of sight waivers, swarming waivers. You know, and I often tell students that knowledge alone of writing a waiver can be worth $10,000 or more per waiver, depending on how complicated it gets. You're also going to learn how to solder. You're going to learn how to micro solder, regular solder, air solder. You're going to learn how to do all that. Those are skills that are highly paid now that you're going to people are not available for. So you can kind of demand your own wage. You're going to learn electronics here. So you're going to be able to take apart and rebuild anything electronically. And we often tell people it's all about drones, and that's the focus. But honestly, you can fix an ATM machine when you're done those courses. That you're going to get in your first year. In your second year, you're going to learn things like thermography, and you're going to learn about thermal cameras and how to analyze with a thermal drone. You're going to get classes in geographic information systems, photogrammetry. You are really going to have enough knowledge here to go directly into the workforce, directly into an engineering program where you come with all the practical hands-on skills already. So all the theoretical knowledge then makes you even more valuable in the marketplace. Or you're going to be able to go out there and go into any number of industries in the robotics field. And when people ask me, well, how many everything is going to be robotics within the next 10 years. There is nothing. Think AI. Think about ChatGPT. Think about what you're seeing. All that's going to be embedded in robotic systems that are going to interact with human beings. And those of us who know how to interact with machines and machine learning are going to have the jobs of the future. And those of us, unfortunately, who don't, no one's saying this out loud, so I'm going to tell you, there's going to be no employment for you because the machines are going to take over so many jobs coming up that you need to get. It doesn't matter to me if you're a liberal arts major like I initially was when I had my first degrees, or you're a STEM-based major. You are going to work with machines in the future.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I want to point out to our viewing audience is the fact that these are jobs that you can get right out of the 2-year program here at Warren Community College. But, Will, there are partnerships that you have developed with other colleges and particularly Embry-Riddle University. Tell us about that, because you can go on to a 4-year degree in this, right?
Yeah, so one of the big things was when we first began this degree, I was looking for professors and could find none because this is brand new knowledge. So we're just developing people now. So I myself, in October of 2018, went back and got a master's degree in what was called unmanned systems, now uncrewed systems. I got the master's degree in that from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and then went on to get another graduate certificate in commercial space operations. But that allowed me to meet a lot of the professors because they were my professors. And I told them about our program, and we have articulation agreements with Embry-Riddle now. Our faculty and the faculty at Riddle train together. We take students down there as part of their capstone experience to fly at Embry-Riddle down in Daytona. We go out to Prescott and fly with, again, the faculty there. And when I tell you this is the ideal higher education partnership, it truly is. The students are able to seamlessly move there. They can actually finish degrees here in the worldwide program. They can go to Daytona and finish, get their 4-year degree. Or like I said, right now, you can go directly into the workforce for salaries that will be at least $65,000 or above from the program. So you really have a lot of options and opportunities. But as I always tell people, when the desire to have right to the workforce usually grows into a bachelor's degree. What do I mean by that? In other words, when an industry is first beginning, people are desperate for employment. But as that industry professionalizes and develops, they're going to look for degreed professionals. And you can almost see this in some of what I've seen in the last 2 years post-COVID, where we're seeing people who've really helped start this industry because of those kind of degree credential requirements, find themselves limited in how far they can move up in the industry. Yeah. And that really is a shame because they really are the founders. But that's a capitalist society. People are going to go for the most highly skilled people that they can get that are going to give them the best return on investment. And that tends to be a college educated person to this day.
Yeah, even in this technology as well, as we should point out. I just want to take a moment to say that I'm, talking to Dr. Will Austin, who is not only president of Warren Community College, but he is also the chief pilot. And one of the reasons he's the chief pilot is because he's done a lot of study in this and very interested in it, right? I mean, this is it's an interest to me too. and as you well know, and I mean, you're really interested.
Yeah, I think when I first started, it was a kind of a novelty thing. I thought we would have we would teach a couple Part 107 classes a year. Yeah. But as I really got into it, and when I tied it together with everything else that's going on in the workplace and workforce of the future, this is a major component of the workforce of the future. It allows you to get in with drones, which can be a lot of fun to operate. So you're learning robotics. So, if you go and just learn a robotic arm on a factory floor, it's interesting, but it might not be that exciting long term. Here, you're going to go into different environments. You're going to go underwater. You're going to go into the air. You're going to be on the ground. You think driverless cars. Your opportunities in the drone or the uncrewed systems arena are just, they're mind-bogglingly exponential at this point. So there's nothing but a bright future for anyone young who starts in this degree program.
Absolutely. And that's the point we want to make. And that's why we want to encourage you to view some of our other programs that we're going to be bringing you over the next few weeks and months, because you're going to learn a lot just by watching the programs, hopefully, that we are going to be giving and bringing you.
Well, let me add another little thing here. So when you watch a lot of other programs, it's different because they're private enterprises. Either they're private businesses, private colleges, private individuals trying to make a living. Remember, everybody you see here is paid for already by the public. We are a public entity at Warren Community College. We run under the name WarrenUAS for this program, but everything is provided by the public. So we're going to, on these programs coming up, Dave, I'm going to share things other people don't share.
All right.
Because I'm not trying to make any money. I know the answer,
Yeah.
and I can give it to you, and I can give it to people. And here's what I always say. If you're watching this, you've paid some kind of tax, probably, if you're in the United States. So you've already paid my salary, so I'm happy to give you the information for free.
And also, excuse me, good incentive to watch the programs that we have for you, because we're going to deal with a whole bunch of different topics, not the least of which is the droning on the FAA. I guess it was a seminar, or what would you call it?
That was a conference,
It was a
regional conference, yeah.
And that'll be in our next program. So let's talk about also a partnership with Bucks County Community College.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exciting. So, as we began this program at Warren Community College, what we noticed was it is extraordinarily difficult to set this up. We were very fortunate with grants. We were very fortunate to find faculty. We were very fortunate to be able to partner with Embry-Riddle, and we've actually been able to hire graduates there to teach in from that program and other programs to teach in our program. So that is really exciting. But what happens is, as I kind of alluded to, there aren't that many faculty out there at this point that are teaching professionals. So a lot of colleges are having difficulty. So we partnered with the college next door in Pennsylvania. We're in New Jersey, and what we're going to do is bring our program to Bucks and to Pennsylvania, and we're able to staff that for them. We're able to use the equipment here that we have to teach students over there, so it cuts their costs down, and then we're able to revenue share with them. So what we're doing now is what every taxpayer should want. We're sharing knowledge, we're sharing materials, and we're educating more students at a lower cost because they don't have to invest in the same things that have already been invested in.
So this is really an unbelievably exciting field, and we encourage folks to look into it. If you have any idea, and we have a lot of young folks out there that are maybe even recreational pilots, and they're saying, you know what, I'd like this would be kind of a cool job. And you can, as you have indicated, do quite well in many of the fields associated with drone and robot technology. So we encourage you to contact Warren Community College. Will, what's the best way for them to contact the college?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to do that is just send us out an email here. You can just send it to me, and I'll forward it to the right person. My email is pretty simple, Will, W-I-L-L, @warren.edu. Or you can just go on warren.edu/drones, and you can check out the entire program. Or you can go on to Google Warren Community College and just give us a call. I mean, we're great. We operate on all medium.
Yeah. Now, students only in Warren County?
No, and we're very fortunate that Warren Community College does not really charge out of area extra tuition. So if you're out of state, it may be $15 a credit. So you're talking maybe tops $45 a class. But you can probably come in here, most people, and get the entire degree for less than $2,500.
Amazing.
There are a number of classes that are online. There are non-credit programs for people who already have degrees. But the degree was designed, because I designed it, so I can kind of answer this. Traditionally you go into a degree program and you got to go through each semester, and then when you come out, you have a degree, you can get a job. Here you can kind of pick and choose courses. And as you move through, so you're going to start with your Part 107. So after your first semester, you can go out and start making money right away. So you can actually help fund your own education, which again is extraordinarily affordable at a community college. But you can fund your own. You can, as you develop new skill sets, it's going to add to your business products that you can sell to people or services you can offer. So we find that students often are making money as they're going through the degree, which is an excellent way to go through it. But if you're already a degreed professional and you're like, I want to do a little bit of this drone stuff, I know you've done this, Dave, from your own profession.
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
pick and choose those courses which are going to match your interest and where you want to go with this. So it's designed for you to attack your education in the way that's going to benefit you the most as an individual.
And I just want to say, thanks to Warren Community College, I have already earned quite a few dollars in doing some of because I had a background in photography, and so I was am now using drone photography to do real estate photography. And so we do aerials and things of that nature. The thing that's good about it is that I have found how to mitigate situations, sometimes that you don't even think about. And this is a very important aspect of your training in drone technology. Am I right?
It's the most important. So, and you're going to get a lot of training here that you're just not going to get other places. So you may be, in fact, be one of the students that goes along, and these are always volunteer. Once you have your Part 107, you have your safety, you're going to be asked to go. But, a project students worked on not long ago was getting on top of Penn Station in Newark, which is right in the EWR, or Newark Airport flight line. It's one of the most congested airspaces in the world. You're flying over basically the roof of the building. You're on the roof with the New Jersey Transit people, and you're capturing this data in one of the most complex environments on the planet. So when you go out there next and you're in a much simpler location, you've mitigated some of the most complicated airspace that you're ever going to be probably flying in. You're flying under special waivers that you've had to read, and you really have experience there that you can take into any situation. So you may think something's a simple job. Get out there, find high power tension wires, find, out here in Warren County, it isn't impossible that all of a sudden you found out there's a bird sanctuary next to you.
Right.
So how are you going to mitigate? How are you going to get your permissions? How are you going to do this without getting in trouble? You're going to have all that skill already, as you well know. So when you get out there, where other people are going to have to turn down some more lucrative jobs, you're going to have the skill set to be able to do it and do it safely and legally.
And I'll tell you another thing it does too. It gives you confidence that you can do it because you've learned how to do it. You've learned the procedures for mitigation and things of that nature. And so you really have confidence that you can do the job, and you can do a good job too.
Yeah, and you're going to fly many, many different types of drones. So you're not just going to fly like your Phantom 4 or your Mavic. You're going to fly them. We have them. But you're going to fly matrices. You're going to fly SenseFly EB fixed wings. You're going to build your own fixed wing probably. You're going to work with Spot the Robotic Dog. You're going to work with Deep Trekker underwater. You're going to fly Wingtra. You're going to fly both versions of the Wingtra aircraft. You're going to process that data. You're going to fly the Centero beyond visual line of sight. You're going to fly complicated aircraft so that when you go into look for your job, you're going to have experience with tons of different systems. We're going to ask you to concentrate on one because a lot of the more advanced ones are similar, but because if you try to concentrate on 80 drones, you're not going to know much at the end of the day.
Right. Absolutely. Will, I want to thank you for being my guest. It's been very informative, and I do hope that based on this podcast, that as you're looking at this, you will contact Warren Community College, find out more about the drone/robotics program. And again, what's the best way to contact?
Yeah, just send me an email at will, W-I-L-L, at Warren, W-A-R-R-E-N, .edu. That's the best way to get in contact with us. We'll get back in touch with you within a couple of days because we got a lot of interest these days. So we'll get back to you as soon as we can, and we'll get the right person. So in the email, kind of give a sense of what you're interested in. Are you interested in aircraft? Are you interested in building? Are you interested in photogrammetry? Let us know your major interest, and we'll get the right person talking to you about it.
Okay, very good. My guest has been Dr. Will Austin, president of Warren Community College, and also the chief pilot here in the drone program. Will, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dave.
And in our next program, we're going to be talking about that Droning On conference that we've been mentioning briefly. You're going to see some highlights of that and get a chance to see some of the drones that are used in the drone program. Thank you very much. I'm Dave Kelber. That's it for now.